if you got to listen to the first part of our Safe House blog here, I want to share with you what I went through and what I witnessed tonight, like every other night, when a man that is much older, we're talking about 50, 60 years old, laying down with a 2 year old. I'm saying it as the granddaughter of the attorney for the Pittsburgh Police. I've called on people to make sure that their connections are strong, like like any other time in history. We have seen an epic amount of sex crimes against children, against everything that's moral and decent. So whenever I tell you personally what I went through at 14 years old, I'm 49 years old. I served in the United States military. I know that Vets for Child Rescue does a fantastic job. We can help. Let's tell you what happens when a man who penetrates a 4 year old little daughter, or a niece or a sister. It is incredibly hard to put words to the things that have happened. Children who act out sexual abuse, meaning they had sex with each other at 4 years old, okay? This is the kind of sex crimes we're talking about. And I'm saying it like it is because we want it to stop. And when you identify the criminals, when you can identify what's really going on, what it is that it's child pornography, okay? And it turns into the sex trade business, and that's where we go down this road. Because a lot of children identify with prostitution for some reason or another. It comes down to homosexuality and prostitution. And there are a bunch of other factors involved, influences like music. I could go down the line, okay? What you see is that Kanye West, I don't know if he's really become a Christian or not yet. I haven't got that far yet. But for some reason or another, Kanye's not having he's been having difficulties with Kim Kardashian. And it's a well-known fact, when you use blood and you put it on your face, like, where did that blood come from? That would be one. Placenta used in your hair. I've heard all about it because it's in Cosmopolitan magazine, right? Where if you would use Preparation H to make your face tighter. You have read Cosmopolitan magazine, okay? What's not Cosmopolitan is talking about what we're talking about, because there are sex crimes that have been committed against our will. And anytime somebody penetrates somebody while they're sleeping in the anal and rectal area, it needs a rectal exam, and that's the kind of things that we're talking about. We're talking about sexual abuse, sex crimes against the will of another person. I know this firsthand because I was a victim of this, okay? And what I'm saying is, when you're a child, you think like a child, okay? And you don't always understand. You blame yourself, and a lot of children will act out on themselves, okay? What I'm trying to say, it's safe to say that you're not responsible for being abused. If you didn't want to be touched, or unwanted touching, unwanted sex, unwanted treatment of any kind is a crime. That's why we have the police, and we have the support of our community, because we know when a sex crime is committed against a child, it hurts everyone. Anytime you see what I witnessed, my sister being yanked around at 3 years old by the foster mother, everyone in Zillionople should be mad about that kind of thing that would happen to a little girl who everyone likes. A likable child. A likable kid. Even the most unlikable children. Everyone knows when the one kid is getting treated different than all the rest. It is something you need to pay attention to. targeting one child or pitting children against each other. When adults do it, it is wrong. It happens, and that's why the Safe House is here to provide a place to go. That's what Erica would want. Erica was a child abuse forensic expert. And I could tell you right now, if there wasn't an Erica Harkema, I don't know what would have happened to the thousands of children she saved, especially when she spoke on shaken baby syndrome, especially crack babies who had mothers who were doing crack while they were pregnant. I hope we are effectively changing the direction and where sex crimes cases get investigated and they get charged, just like the conversation I had with a woman today where her 8-year-old little girl was raped by a 40-year-old man and he's doing 16 years. Let me tell you also another story about 10 men that raped newborn children and their, let's just say, their appendages were cut off. I'm telling you, when you walk in on a sexual assault, right now we know that there's men right now sleeping with children that are not supposed to be in those beds right now. Or taking advantage of a child right now. We're up in the middle of the night. We're up all hours of the night, okay? A lot of people don't sleep at night. They don't know if these crimes are going to be prosecuted. Sex crimes against children, when it's not prosecuted, it's going to keep you up at night. That's why this defund police thing, you could say what you want. Someone is going to stand up for the children that are being victimized or re-victimized every day. Imagine for 10 years right now that there's a child or an adult that you know is being re-victimized by the same sex offender right now. For 10 years. So let's speak to the child and let's speak to the people right now that are being victimized right now by the same offender that has been sexually abusing you. No one's allowed to touch you that way. No one is allowed to harm you that way. And if that person keeps going into your room or wait until you put your toys away and they're approaching you, there's got to be a way that we can teach children child safety and stranger danger or danger that is happening. And by today's standards, it doesn't have to be a stranger now. It could be your uncle, it could be a cousin, it could be a relative, it could be a neighbor. Please, back the blue. The most important thing we can do to offer help is the Safe House.